NMH at 1 brings you the news making headlines across Namibia, Africa and the globe. Read to you by myself, Aina Kweo. Here is what to expect in today's broadcast. Namibia Transport and Allied Workers Union not deterred by court order which blocked a planned nationwide strike. Early childhood development centers receive sanitation facilities. Rundu activists share challenges registering his organization. Gun violence in South Africa on the rise.
Careers Bistro focuses on the movers and shakers in the corporate world. It takes the content of the Careers Hub that is inserted every Friday in the 3 NMH dailies, Republikane, Namibian Sun, and Algemeine Zeitung, to viewers on social media. This show is broadcasted on NTV, oneup2.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Careers Hub, the Republikane, Algemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun, and Namibia Media Holdings. Careers Bistro focuses on car interviews, career motivational videos, the ups and downs of different careers, keeping in touch with business and more. For career-related content or advertising queries, please contact zone@synergy.com.na.
In today's midday news update, the Namibian Transport and Allied Workers Union is not deterred after an 11th hour court order blocked their nationwide strike planned to have started this morning. According to Acting General Secretary of the union, Narina Polman, the court proceedings scheduled to continue on the 29th of July are simply another stall tactic. Listen to her articulate concerns about leadership and the future of the state-owned enterprise, which has not adjusted salaries in 4 years and is evicting long-serving employees from housing it now intends to sell. Let's have a look.
We herewith plead with the shareholders to release the Ernst & Young report, to which we as employees and unions submitted inputs. During the investigation, we submitted a 15-page report submission to the Ernst & Young team for investigation. Today we have been denied the content thereof. Why is this document kept a secret? Taxpayers' money paid for the investigation, and as such, we as the nation and employees have the right to know what is in this report. Or is it also part of the plot of bringing our company, Transnamib, to its knees, so that the already waiting vultures should profit from its demise? We are demanding, having observed all the developments of late at Transnamib, Natal is calling on the board of directors once again and the line ministry on a very urgent note to recall the officials implicated in the alleged misconduct, to restore the most important part, which is the relationship with immediate effect, and further allow a neutral process even if they want to investigate further. It is totally evident that the very same officials are fueling more labor unrest and harm to the company as they are conflicted and not objective to the cause. Natal is giving the Transnamib board 48 hours to action the above, as we have already indicated to them in our demands, which was handed over to them in our petition, of which failure will result in unpopular action, as we have been patient enough with these specific officials since 2019. We are serious this time and will make it a point that misconduct of entrusted senior officials will not be condoned anymore in Namibian space, as it does more harm to the nation. Viva Natal, viva! Viva!
Remember to engage us on our social media platforms. Now, coming up after this short break is our visual news segment. Getting into today's visual news clips. Rundu youth activist Ansfried Moyo is experiencing challenges registering his youth organization, a boys and girls club. He says he's unable to secure funding to carry out his envisioned projects aimed at addressing the various social ills the youth are faced with. He says he remains committed to have it registered and has called on fellow youth to have hope. He spoke to Kenya Kambowe.
We have tried with the Konrad Adenauer Stiftstang. We wrote to them to say, no, assist us in establishing our club. Also, we wanted them to fund for our General Assembly, where young people from different regions of this organization, where they are, so that we come at one place, because we basically want to hear what is the organization is not only focusing on Kavango East and West, but basically we want to hear what is happening with the youth in Umsati region, Karas region, Erongo region, and so forth. So if our club is officially registered, we are then able to receive dividends from the National Youth Council for Namibia, as stipulated in the Article Act of 2009, the National Youth Act of 2009. Which states that any official youth organization that is affiliated to the National Youth Council is entitled to dividends.
Okay. Maybe any last words you'd like to share with our viewers?
I would like all the young people in Namibia to have hope and also live by the slogan that we have, that Namibia is a land of the brave. So only brave people survive in this country. So I'm calling and urging all the young people to remain vigilant and brave in working to establish and reaching a social justice, which is a common goal that we are advocating for.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
The governor of the Commerce region, Laura McLeod Kachura, during the State of Region address on Friday, spoke about initiatives to help the youth better their skills. Yolanda Nell was there.
The Commerce Regional Council Youth Office has been instrumental in availing the Windhoek Multi-Purpose Resource Center for the youth to have access to related youth services such as internet, meeting facilities, skills training, empowerment programs and projects, among others. The Commerce Regional Youth Office provides young people with soft skills such as basic computer literacy, training and tailoring. Due to COVID-19 restrictions during the reporting period, only a limited number of trainees could access the training. And as such, the basic computer training successfully trained only 36 in basic computer literacy and 12 in training. As part of the ongoing process of establish 121 youth constituency youth enterprises, the Commerce region has managed to successfully register all 10 constituency youth enterprises. The business interest of the 10 close cooperatives or cooperation ranges from ICT services, delivery, catering, and manufacturing. With the aid from the University of Namibia, all 10 constituencies managed to develop business plans which are ready for funding.
Early childhood development in Namibia recently received a sanitation center. Yolanda Nell has more.
According to UNICEF, good hygiene is critical for preventing the spread of infectious diseases and helping children lead long, healthy lives. It also prevents them from missing school, resulting in better learning outcomes. The Development Workshop in Namibia is proud to announce that after collaboration with the sanitation team, some early childhood development centers across the country received a sanitation center which provides access to a toilet for children and information for the community on how to build a toilet affordably. The Borgen project in Namibia indicates that Namibia has the lowest levels of sanitation coverage in Southern Africa. Only 34% of the country's population has access to improved sanitation facilities. That percentage drops to 14% in the country's rural areas. The practice of open defecation, which occurs in 14% of urban areas and 77% of rural areas, increases the spread of diseases and majorly impacts the general health. In March 2020, the city of Windhoek made an effort to increase access to sanitation facilities by installing a combined 25 toilets in the constituencies of Katutura and Kommersdal in the capital. The mayor of Windhoek at the time promised the donation of another 40 sanitation facilities to other communities in the near future to continue improving sanitation in the country. The consumption of contaminated water can cause children to become sick and malnourished. In 2015, 17% of children in Namibia suffered from diarrhea. Repeated episodes of diarrhea can result in childhood stunting, another common problem in Namibia. A disparity between rural and urban populations also exists, with 20% of rural children suffering from diarrhea compared to 15% of urban children. Lack of sanitation and the practice of open defecation cause water contamination in Namibia. The communication strategy, Open Defecation Free Namibia, emerged in 2014 already with support from UNICEF and aims to raise awareness on the connection between sanitation and health. By using a mass media campaign, the strategy hopes to mobilize the public in Namibia to work with the government to decrease open defecation and increase sanitation.
When we return, we will be taking a look at the news headlining Namibia's print publications.
My.NA Property Show provides viewers with the best in-class content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest property-related products and services. If you would like to feature your brand or your campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Properties, more than just a roof over your head.
Thank you for watching NMH at 1 this afternoon. Inside today's daily newspapers, Professor Muchinde Kachua has handed instruments of power over the weekend to begin his reign as a paramount chief of Ovaherero amid intense opposition by supporters supporters of Chief Veripka Kapuo, the chairperson of the Ovaherero Traditional Authorities Chief Council. This is according to Namibia Sun lead story, which reports that despite ongoing disputes, including a lawsuit and a recent High Court ruling that there was no locus standi to act on behalf of the Ovaherero people, Kachua was coronated as paramount chief during a grand occasion which saw him ascending to the glamorous throne imported from the United States of America and weighing a solid 52 kilograms. The paper also reports that Tourism Minister Pwamba Shifeta has denied allegations that a deal to export 22 elephants to the United Arab Emirates was scaled during a trip he took to Dubai. He stressed that the ministry sold the elephants directly to Namibia and not to anyone in in Dubai. Shifeta said the ministry offered 170 elephants for sale through an open public bidding process, which opened on the 3rd of December 2020 and closed on the 29th of January 2021. A pilot desalination plant was inaugurated at Bethany on Friday to improve and treat poor quality groundwater which deteriorates due to climate change, reports Namibian Sun. The construction of the plant, to the tune of 37 million Namibian dollars, commenced in October 2020 and was completed in October 2021. It is designed to produce 487 cubic meters of product water a day to meet the demand of the village until 2037. The desalination plant is powered by standalone hybrid renewable energy. Deputy Minister of Agriculture Anna Shiweda said it is projected that groundwater quality will further deteriorate because of climate change and variability. In our next story, a negative PCR test result for COVID-19 has now also been accepted as an admission requirement for visitors to Namibia following intervention and talks between, among others, the Minister of Health and Social Services and the Environment, Forestry and Tourism. President Hage Geingob announced during the last monthly announcement on COVID-19 regulations at State House that foreign travelers must show a COVID-19 vaccination certificate at border post for admission to the country, similar to the requirement for travelers to obtain yellow fever vaccination certificates to show in some countries. The lack of option of a negative test result for visitors who have not been vaccinated has caused great concern and confusion in the industry, which has suffered huge losses due to restrictions over the past 2 years and is currently in the midst of a surge in visitor numbers. On Saturday, the amendment was officially approved by the Minister of Health, Dr. Kalumbi Shangula. In our next story, the chances of La Nina condition strengthening in spring and early summer are between 62 and 66%, according to the latest prediction by international weather scientists, as reported on Republican's page 3. This is promising news for Southern Africa and also Namibia, as La Nina conditions are usually associated with wetter than normal conditions also in Namibia. Apart from that, the Indian Ocean is expected to play a supporting role during Namibia's rain season. This follows after the Indian Dipole Index has been very close to or exceeded negative threshold over the past 4 weeks. This means a negative Indian Ocean Dipole Index event is increasingly likely in 2022, something that is also associated with better rains across Southern Africa. On Friday, Thompson Fiti Hatui Kulipi's bail application came to a close with the first round of hearings. With new reasons and plenty of testimonies about his knowledge and lack of knowledge of the fish rod conspiracy the state is charging him with, he presents his arguments to the judge. State cross-examination does not begin until late August, reports the Allgemeine Zeitung. On the paper's page 3, the final report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Natural Resources reveals political differences, but is also used by the opposition as a useful tool against the Minister of Agriculture and Mines. The demands are largely limited to Namibian revenue sharing, with the environment seemingly playing a second fiddle. We'll be right back with more news after the break. Stay with NMH at 1.
In Business 7, you get news on current economic, financial, and business matters in Namibia. The weekly show features interviews with experts and in-depth analysis of burning issues in a way that caters for ordinary Namibians and business connoisseurs alike. We crunch the numbers that matter, decipher statistics that shape Namibian lives, discuss smart money, and explore the impact of global development locally. Money makes the world go round, so catch us on NTV, oneup2.com, and the Facebook platforms of the Namibian Sun, Republikane, Algemeine Zeitung, and Namibia Media Holdings. For news related or advertising queries, please contact b7@synergy.com.na.
Let's continue with our news right here on NMH at 1. The Namibian leads with a tragic story of a police officer who allegedly fatally shot his colleague through a toilet door at a popular Windhoek drinking hole, who is claiming that he fell asleep inside the cubicle. When he woke up, he thought he was at home and a burglar was trying to break in. The police report stated that the two officers had earlier been involved in an argument. The paper, in another report, highlights that Namibia has been ranked among the top 10 countries most likely to default on debt obligation in 2022. According to the Sovereign Debt Vulnerability Ranking, Namibia takes the 10th spot, with government debt reaching 69% of the country's gross domestic debt. In our next story, on its inside pages, the Namibian reports that a political leader have called on Ovaherero leaders to unite amid fractions in the Ovaherero Traditional Authority. The two fractions, led by disputed Paramount Chief Muchinde Kachua and the OTA chairperson of Ovitoto Chief Vipurwa Kapuo, maintained their stance to hold two separate Rundu Red Flag Days event held over the weekend. Academic Professor Kachua was coronated as a paramount chief by his fraction at Omusere Kakumba, 18 kilometers outside of Okahanya. The paper also reported that Thompson Haktui Kulipi on Friday told Windhoek High Court the effect that his incarceration over the past 2 years and a half has had, stating that he has not seen his two children in person since his arrest in 2019, and also that him and his family are finding themselves in difficult financial positions. New Era reports that in recent weeks, the embattled city of Windhoek Council have staggered from one controversy to another, while residents wait in anticipation for basic services. Currently, without a substantive CEO, a motion of no confidence has been moved to dislodge the management committee after a year-long saga. The city of Windhoek employees have accused the mayor said governors of receiving double transport benefits from the city, which is irregular according to the policy. This means that the mayor has pocketed 57,000 Namibian dollars in transport allowance since January. Governors denied these allegations. In our next story, New Era's page 3 reports that the management of Cheetah Cement have called demands by the Mine Workers Union of Namibia unrealistic and labeled threats of industrial action by the 200-strong workforce as counterproductive. The MUN informed Cheetah Cement on Friday of a strike scheduled for tomorrow at 7:30 in compliance with striking rules. According to the Economics Focus Market Watch, the African continent has been the source of all sorts of raw materials, feeding other economies to produce manufactured goods. Exporting of raw materials is not sustainable strategy to build resilient economies. These sentiments were shared by the Minister of Mines and Energy, Tom Alwendo, at the official inauguration of the Fine Star Diamond Cutting and Polishing Factory and Windhoek on Friday. In his keynote address, Alwendo noted that in order to have a flourishing diamond cutting and polishing industry, there is a need for a full collaboration with those companies that have invested in the industry. A group of commercial farmers is urging Agribank to consider writing off interest it owes the bank. More on this after the break.
Sunset News is a daily news show focusing on national headlines as well as international news. If you'd like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, please contact sunset@synergy.com.na. Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.
Thank you for watching NMH at 1 this afternoon. Let's have a look at our economic news. At this stage, petrol or diesel shortages are not expected at fuel station after South Africa has been left without a single operating oil refinery. All of South Africa's refineries are now offline after Sasol closed Natref in Sasolburg following delays in the arrival of crude oil shipment at the Durban port. The company declared a force majeure and said it won't be able to supply the petroleum products. It refines oil to produce petrol and diesel. Sasol spokesperson told Fin24 that no supply shortages are expected at fuel stations, including its own at this stage. Sasol does not want to give information about the origin of the oil and has been delayed, but confirmed that a shipment finally arrived on Saturday. The company says it is a proactive in finding new sources of oil. It expects that Natref will be running at full capacity by end of July. The delay in crude oil supplies to Sasol comes at an unexpected time. While there has been a supply squeeze in recent months, demand of oil has started to weaken in response to red-hot prices. Explosions have closed the Cape Town refinery of Astron Energy as well as Indian Durban's refinery in recent years. Petrol SA's Mosel Bay refinery is also closed as it can't secure enough feedstock from offshore gas fields. Now let's have a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar has climbed in value when weighed against these major currencies, trading at 20 Namibian dollars and 26 cents for 1 British pound. Let's say holding Namibia stock prices rose by 12.8%, while Nicta's holding stock prices have dropped to 40 Namibian dollars. The NSX also shows a significant 36.3% decline in Trustco Group holding stock prices, while both local and overall index have gone up. These major commodities have all gone up in price according to available data. Police are on the hunt for suspect after 9 people were fatally shot in separate shooting incidents in 2 provinces of South Africa, while flash floods in Sudan have killed 7 people. This story is coming up after the break. You're still watching NMH at 1. We now extend to the rest of the continent, and later we will bring you international news from the rest of the globe. Police are on the hunt for suspect after 9 people were fatally shot in separate shooting incidents in 2 provinces of South Africa on Saturday night. The latest slew of shootings come on the heels of an uptick in violent death in a country with one of the world's highest murder rates. 4 people were shot and 2 were injured at the Tempi-Lintle informal settlement in Gauteng province. Preliminary investigations suggested that a group of men were playing dice at a street corner at approximately 19:30 p.m. on Saturday when they were attacked by unknown assailants who shot at them, the authorities said in a statement. 4 people were certified dead on the scene on Saturday, while 2 people were taken to the nearest medical care center after sustaining gunshot wounds, the police said. In another separate incident, also at Tembi-Lintle in the south of Johannesburg, a 36-year-old man who have appeared to have been robbed of his belongings, including a cell phone and bicycle, was found shot dead, they added. Police said that the motive of the shootings cannot be confirmed at this stage, while in the Western Cape province, police have launched an investigation into the circumstances of a triple murder last night in Khayelitsha Township. In our next story, flash floods triggered by seasonal torrential rains in Sudan's Western Darfur region killed at least 7 people, including children, according to the UN and an aid group on Sunday. Heavy rain started late Friday in the Kas locality in South Darfur province, according to the General Coordination for Refugees and Displaced in Darfur. The group said the dead included a pregnant woman and 2 boys aged 2 and 8. It said at least 100 houses in camps for displaced people collapsed or were partially damaged, according to the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. About 6,250 people have been affected by heavy rains and flooding since the beginning of the rainy season in June. And that is all we have for our continental news. After the break, we return with international news. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.
In our international news this afternoon, an Australian teenager taken to Syria as a child is feared dead after languishing in an adult prison for 3 years. Yusuf Zahab was 11 years old when he was taken to Syria in 2015 by relatives who had been radicalized. He was imprisoned without charge in 2019. His Sydney-based family says they are heartbroken and angry because the 17-year-old had begged for help for years. Australia has previously said it is too dangerous to repatriate its citizens. It is unclear exactly when or how Youssef is suspected to have died. Right Group says he was injured in January when the Islamic State group attacked a prison in Syria Kurdish-controlled northeast in a bid to free its fighters. Kurdish-led forces with the U.S. support battled the militants for a week, leaving more than 180 people dead. At the time, Youssef told family in a voice recording he was scared he might die at any time as fighting intensified. I lost a lot of blood. There is no doctors here. There is no one to help me, he said. Youssef was among around 850 children who had been detained at the prison after the fall of IS in 2019 in case they posed risk, the UN children's charity UNICEF said. When we return, we come back with local sports.
AgriMonitor is jou weeklikse landboukundige program wat jou die jongste nuus in die landbouverwante bedryf en onderwerpe wat daaraan gekoppel is, bring. Vir enige advertensie of nuusverwante navraag, kontak agrimonitor@synergy.com.na.
Thank you for watching NMH at 1. Let's have a look at local sports. Zambia beat Namibia 1-0 in the final of the COSAFA 2022 Cup. The 90-minute finish at 0-0 before Lady Luck smiled on Zambia with a freak strike by Albert Kagwada from outside the goal area. The ball hit the right upright before flying into the goal area of the hand of Namibia's diving goalkeeper Edward Maova. Coach Colin Benjamin says he is simply proud of his players who only conceded one goal in extra time of the final of a deflection. Edward Maova of Namibia got rewarded as goalkeeper of the tournament. The Brave Warriors clinched the prize money of $250,000 Namibian rather. In our next story, Walvis Bay was home to a great rugby action on Saturday where Kudu showed that they are the club to beat this season. FNB Kudu Rugby Club clinched a double victory in their reverse and Premier League rugby games against the visiting Trusco United and at Jana Vilken Stadium in Walvis Bay on Saturday. Spurred on by the vociferous crowd, the Kudu Premier League team showed once again that they are the team to beat this season with a 43-20 victory, while the second team pocketed a 33-17 win. The main game got off to a slow start due to very hot weather conditions that persisted on the day. United found themselves on the wrong side of the rules when referee Romario de Cuca showed a red card to their hooker Gerard Tyrion 5 minutes into the game. Kudu fullback Chad Plato opened the scoreboard with a try, which he also successfully converted. After the break, we bring you highlights.
I usually spend about $600 Namibian for a full tank, which usually lasts me the entire month because I do not drive around that much. The longest stretch I've ever gone with my car is to Kamanyap, and that was for leisure purposes. The service at the Namco service station is excellent because when you get there, you're met by employees who are always ready to cater to you. Whether it's them fueling your car, checking your tire pressure, offering to wash your windscreen, or checking your engine oil. The one thing that makes me proudly Namibian is being able to experience Namibia in all its beauty through travel.
Thank you for watching NMH at 1, and if you have just joined us, here are our news highlights. An Australian teenager taken to Syria as a child is feared dead after languishing in an adult prison for 3 years. Police are on the hunt for suspects after 9 people were fatally shot in separate shooting incidents in 2 provinces of South Africa on Saturday night. Zambia beat Namibia 1-0 in COSAFA Cup finals. And those have been our highlights. Thank you for staying with NMH at 1 and for spending your lunch hour with me, Aina Kweyom. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. as we take you through the latest happenings in Namibia and beyond. And that is all from all of us here in studio, but do stick around for a trip to Ongwediva, where Tunohole Mungoba gives us the inside scoop of what has been happening in Namibia's northern region. Happy Monday.
Good day, Namibia. Welcome to another episode of Regional Review, the Monday Far North edition. I am your host, Tunole Mungoba, and on today's show, we are going to discuss what transpired in the beautiful 4 old regions of the country, which is Oshana, Omusati, Ohangwena, and the Oshikoto regions. I am your host, Tunole Mungoba, and I'll be taking you through today's show. Please stay tuned and do not touch that dial. Before we get into our news segment, we are going to use today, which is the 19th of July, to commemorate World Mandela Day. Nelson Mandela has played an instrumental role in shaping the livelihoods of many Africans, specifically South Africans. Even though he is no longer with us today, he has left his legacy and he shall forever remain in our hearts. Please watch this short promo video that has been prepared by our regional review team and the Namibia Media Holdings team. Please watch and let us know what you think and how you are going to use your day today to commemorate World Mandela Day. For our first news segment, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and National Services held the Beyond Mean camp in the Ohangwena region in the Enana town. The different speakers were speaking to the youth who were coming from different parts of the country about sexual reproductive health, as well as opportunities within the Ministry of Youth, and also how young people can contribute to making an impact in the lives of those around them. Please watch this video that has been prepared by myself, Tunole Mungoba, to get an insight on what exactly takes place at the Beyond Me camps.
We are saying that we want the youth to access sexual reproductive health, comprehensive sexuality education in a very safe manner. I don't want to go to a clinic. You know, this is our manner. When I go there, my auntie is there. I will tell her out. I can't say now I'm here for depo, or I want a condom. So we've made it easier for youth to access. Please, let's not leave these clinics to be white elephants. It's for us. We must not be shy. We must have body autonomy. I want to only touch on three things. Firstly, the PrEP and the PEP. I've made efforts to study the PrEP and the PEP. It's there for us. I think, my brother, before you go, I want you to tell the youth, what do we need to access PrEP and PEP?
And for our second news story, the three northern town councils, which is the Ongwediva Town Council, Oshakati Town Council, and Ondangwa Town Council, signed a 5-year agreement partnership with the city of Windhoek, which looks at mobilizing collaborations between the two parties, as well as creating opportunities so that the different town councils can learn from each other. They signed a 5-year agreement, which the first one was signed in 2016, and this one will lapse after another 5 years. Tunole Mungoba prepared this video, so please watch it for more.
Everyone is crying of petrol that is increasing. So, but those effects, we do not have control over them. Now, renewing these joint agreements today should enable us to share knowledge and skills pertaining to seeking amicable ways to assist our communities who are severely affected by these changes that we are facing every day or in our everyday life. Honorable members in the House, ladies and gentlemen, since the previous signing ceremony held in 2016 with the city of Windhoek, over 20 employees of Oshakati Town Council conducted familiarization visit at the city of Windhoek. Although reports are shared with both towns after every familiarization visit, it is vital to mention some of the very impactful ideas that we emanated from these familiarization visits. The acquired benchmarking ideas are as follows. The water and sewer section benchmarked on the idea of coming up with a treatment plant, as well as coming up with a water purification plant, of which council can consider in future, especially as our towns are expanding. The usage of water treatment chemicals procured
The Sederland publication focuses on the southern region of Namibia, highlighting the activities that have an impact on different cultures and circumstances on the communities, as well as focusing on the role players responsible for the economic and social upliftment of these communities. The Sederland provides opportunities to share your accommodation specials, retail specials, news content for brand awareness, motoring specials. The Sederland is inserted in the Republicane and distributed countrywide. Contact Republicane at synergy.com.na.
Thank you viewers for watching our news segment so far. For our last item on today's show, we had a sit down with Ndasirohenda Kashawa, who is the founder and owner of Ndinondali Poetry. Ndasirohenda is a commercial poetry farmer in Omsimboti, which is a village which is a few kilometers outside Oshakati. She speaks to Regional Review about her journey with substance farming and why other women should take up their space in agriculture and how they can contribute to growing our Namibian economy. Please watch this video for more.
My name is Ndasirohenda Katango Nakashas are my surname. I'm a 37-year-old woman doing poultry in a communal space, which is a village. Agriculture is such a very big space, and it can fit everyone. Why am I saying so? It's simple because you can fit in any puzzle. To say that if you are a producer, someone can do the packaging, someone can do transporting and logistics for you, someone can do marketing and branding for you, things. So we can all fit in agriculture. So the message I have for women out there is that do something with passion. Find your passion, because I could encourage everyone to do agriculture, but maybe they're not passionate about it. But those ones with passion, look for skills, look for mentors, try to do some visit of farms where you can reach, then you can, and look for help. That help could be in terms of technical skills or could be in terms of funding. And there are actually some schemes out there which I can point out. One is from our government. I think one of Minister of Agriculture do provide some scheme for women in farming, where they can either give you a startup of chicken, small chick, or incubator and things like that. Those are things we need to check around. And nowadays we live in the global village where information, they are actually on our palm of our hand with all this digital and cell phone. So we are there on social media. Look up, try to check where you can get information. Personally, I'm not having a background of agriculture, but I can give the basic. That's now in animal production like poultry and crop production, and refer a person to where they can get information, especially to Health Vision Dume. So encouraging other women to enter a space of agriculture, because we are already in, let me say that. Frankly, we are in a substance farming. Now we need to look some other avenues. Like if I have to grow mahangu and I only need 1 grain basket for my family to run through 12 months before the rain start, what can I do with the surplus? While it's nice, fresh, why don't I sell and get that money, use it to plow again, do the planting or calling people to come and help me? In that way, you can sustain yourself. Yes, I always say really the government is doing something, but now it's up to us, especially the young one. It's up to us. How can we help the government to tap into different spaces? So women being a backbone of household, communities and economy, we can actually do it at any levels in terms of agricultural sector. So I think that my message purely is for us to tap into our strength and conquer our strength and conquer our weaknesses, and actually do either self-employment or check for how we can do away some food insecurity in our country.
Looking at the weather for the far north, Umuthia, sunny and hot with daytime temps of 32 degrees forecast for this week. Sunny and warm conditions prevail at Oshakati. Ungudiva and Inanna are sunny and hot with daytime temperatures of 33 that can be expected this week. Finally, Utapia is cooler with temps in the mid to high 20s.
Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in to another episode of Regional Review. From myself to Nole Mongoba and the Regional Review team, it has been an absolute pleasure being your host for today. I hope you enjoyed all the items that we have on today's show, and I trust that it is going to be a productive week for the rest of us. As we battle the last few months of winter, I urge us to all stay warm, to all keep safe, and to make sure that we do our part in combating the COVID-19 pandemic, which is still very much around us. From myself to Nole Mongoba and the rest of the team, it is goodbye, and I'll see you next week on Friday for our Friday recap episode. Goodbye.